Hello, and welcome to another Pokémon Challenge video. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who watched the last video. I never imagined it would get so much attention. It's made me more motivated than ever to bring you content that I hope you'll enjoy watching as much as I enjoy making. This challenge is a little bit different from the last one. Today I want to find out, can you beat Pokémon Crystal using only gift Pokémon? A gift Pokémon is one that is directly given to you as opposed to catching it in the wild or doing an in-game trade. There are a grand total of 7 gift Pokémon available in Pokémon Crystal, not including your starter Pokémon, which I won't be using. All of these can be obtained before the Pokémon League, so I will have a full team by the end of the game. Obviously this limits our type coverage somewhat, but it should be easier than my last challenge at least. Before we start, I must say that I was inspired to do this challenge by Madrybread, who did an in-game trades only challenge. His channel will be linked in the description below. As always, there are a couple of rules. I can only use gift Pokemon in battle, and only use my starter until I get my first gift Pokemon. And no items in battle. Once again, I want this to be a challenge, items will make this too easy. Without further ado, let's find out, can you beat Pokemon Crystal using only gift Pokemon? I once again pick the female character and name her Toka. Comment down below if you get the reference. We are not able to obtain our first gift Pokemon until after the first gym, so that is where we start this challenge. I beat Falkner with my starter Totodile and get the first badge. As we exit the gym, we get a phone call from Professor Elm asking us to find his assistant in the Pokemon Center. We go there and pick up the mystery egg. After walking about for a while, we hatch our first Pokemon, Togepi. I teach it the move Mud Slap so that we actually have an attacking move and train up a little bit. Having grown a few levels, I feel confident and head towards Azalea Town. On our way, we go through Union Cave and pick up the TM for Swift. This move is normal type, so we definitely want to teach this to Togepi as it gains the same type attack bonus, or stab, from it. We exit Union Cave and arrive in Azalea Town. We take down Team Rocket with ease, as usual, and take on the second gym leader, Bugsy. First up is Metapod. We take it out in 2 Swifts thanks to a lucky critical hit, not that I was particularly worried about a Metapod to begin with. Next up is Kakuna. Kakuna goes down in 3 Swifts, but not before he poisons us with Poison Sting. This is bad news. Finally, Bugsy sends out his ace, Scyther. He hits me with a Fury Cutter, which doesn't do too much damage as I go for a Sweet Kiss, confusing him. I know I won't be able to take too many Fury Cutters, so I need to try and stop him from attacking me. Next turn, he doesn't hurt himself in confusion, but decides to go for Quick Attack instead. Swift only does about a quarter of Scyther's health, so this isn't looking good for me. He snaps out of confusion and hits me with another Quick Attack. While it's not doing too much damage, that and the poison damage are racking up fast, so I need to end this as soon as possible. I go for Swift again and take him down to about half. At this point I knew I was going to lose. He hits me with Quick Attack once more and takes me down to 4 HP. I go for Swift and... I get the luckiest critical hit of my life, taking out Cypher and winning us the second badge. As we go to leave Azalea Town, we are challenged by our rival, who once again I have named Bum Bum, because yes, I still find that funny, don't judge me. He leads with Ghastly, which immediately puts me to sleep with Hypnosis. Fortunately for me, being a normal type means Ghastly has no moves that can hit me, so it's just a matter of time before I can take it out with Mud Slap. Eventually I wake up and take it out without taking damage. Next up is Zubat, who confuses us with Supersonic. Despite hurting myself in confusion, I'm able to take it out in 2 Swifts without taking too much damage. Next up is his starter, Bayleaf. He immediately outspeeds me and poisons me with Poison Powder, so I try my luck with Metronome, hoping to get a Flamethrower or maybe an Ice Beam or something. I go for it and I get... missed. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Togepi, that's just what I wanted. I go for it once more and this time I get Jump Kick. This is a decently powerful move, but it only does about the same as Swift. I go for Metronome once more in the hopes of getting lucky, but he takes me out with a Razor Leaf before I get the chance. I'm going to need to train up a couple of levels before I try this again. I train to level 25 and we try once more. Ghastly and Zubat go down without any problems, and finally it's time for the dreaded Bayleaf. Thankfully he misses Poison Powder as I go for Swift and deal about 1/3 of his health. He goes for Razor Leaf, which doesn't do a lot, and I'm able to take it out with 2 more Swifts. This was a lot easier this time around. We defeat Bum Bum and continue on our journey. We make it through Ilex Forest and pay a visit to the daycare couple just outside Goldenrod City. we are given our second team member in the form of the odd egg. After walking up and down Goldenrod City for a while, the egg finally hatches. It's a Pichu, but not only that, it's a shiny Pichu. For those who don't know, in the English version of Crystal, the Pokemon that hatches from the odd egg has a 14% chance to be shiny. So this isn't as lucky as a regular shiny, but it's cool nonetheless. This isn't the only new team member we can get here though. If we go just north of Goldenrod and talk to the guard, he will give us a Spearow named Kenya. Technically we're supposed to deliver this to a friend of his, but unfortunately for him, I will be keeping this Spearow and using it on our team. I train up our 2 new Pokemon to a decent level, evolving Spearow into Fearow in the process. Just before we fight the 3rd gym leader, Togepi grows a level and it evolves into Togetic. While Togetic is a much better Pokemon than Togepi, it does mean that we have another weakness to roll out to deal with. I take on Whitney, the normal type gym leader. First up is Clefairy. I decide to leave off with Kenya. Clefairy goes down in just 2 hits and it's time for the infamous Miltank. I decide to switch in Togetic as it's my strongest Pokemon by far. He goes for Rollout, which doesn't deal much damage. I use the same strategy as I did in my Delibird challenge, which is to lower his accuracy first with Mud Slap. I go for Sweet Kiss as she hits me with Stomp. I go for Swift, which does a decent amount. I get hit with another Stomp and I'm able to survive and take it out with 2 more Swifts. We win the 3rd gym badge. This battle was a lot easier than I expected. We make our way to Ecruteak City and meet Bill in the Pokemon Center. He says he's going back to Goldenrod City, so we follow him there and talk to him again, where he gives us our next gift Pokemon, Eevee. We now have a team of 4, it's really starting to shape up. We get the HM for Surf and pay a visit to the Burn Tower to fight our rival once again. This fight was much easier than the previous rival fight. First up is Haunter, who goes down to a combination of 2 Pecks and Curse. Next he sends out Magnemite. I choose to send out Togetic and use Mud Slap, which takes it out in 2 hits. Next is Zubat. Despite getting confused by Confuse Ray, we beat Zubat in 2 Thunder Shocks without taking damage. Lastly is his starter Bayleaf. I go with Kenya, who defeats Bayleaf in 3 Pecks, winning us the fight. It's time to face Morty, the 4th gym leader. Kenya was a godsend in this fight as it's fast and immune to ghost moves. Morty starts with Ghastly, who faints to 1 Peck. You may be wondering why I chose not to go for Pursuit, as it is super effective against Ghost. The reason for this is that Peck has the same type attack bonus and hits off of Fearow's greatly superior attack stat. Because of this it actually does more damage than Pursuit. Next up is Haunter. We go for Peck, which does over half. He uses Curse and knocks himself out. This isn't an issue for me though, as I swap into Togetic as he sends out Gengar. I attempt to go for Mud Slap to lower his accuracy, but he puts me to sleep with Hypnosis. He hits me with Dream Eater, which doesn't do too much. I wake up and hit a Mud Slap, which does a decent chunk and lowers his accuracy. Despite this though, he manages to hit me with another Hypnosis. This time I don't wake up the first turn. He hits me with multiple Dream Eaters, bringing me down to low health. I decide that this strategy isn't going to work, so I switch back into Kenya, who doesn't get affected by Dream Eater. I go for Peck and get a critical hit, bringing him down below half health as he goes for Hypnosis and misses. 1 more Peck is not quite enough to take him out, however he misses another Hypnosis. We take it out with 1 more Peck, and all that's left is his last Haunter. Haunter goes down in 2 Pecks, and we win the 4th gym badge. Before going to Olivine City, I travel east and battle Fisherman Tully. I get his number because I find him very attractive. I get his number because he will occasionally call saying that he has an item for us, and we will need this item in the near future. We travel west towards Olivine City, however almost immediately Tully rings us. Someone's a bit eager. We travel back to him and he gives us the Water Stone. We use it on Eevee, evolving him into Vaporeon and teach him the move Surf. We continue to Olivine City and get the number for Last Dana, as she also will have an item that we'll need soon. On the way, Pichu grows a level and evolves into Pikachu. Unfortunately, we're 1 level too late to learn Thunderbolt, so instead I teach Pikachu the TM Thunder Punch. We make it to Olivine City and scale the lighthouse where we meet Jasmine. She tells us to go to Cyanwood City and get the secret potion, so that's what we do. We cross the sea and make it to Cyanwood. We pick up the secret potion and pay a visit to this house. Here we can get our 5th team member, Shucky the Shuckle. I don't see Shucky staying on the team for very long, but for now I'll take what I can get. It's time to face the 5th gym leader, Chuck. Chuck posed no threat whatsoever. Primeape is out first. I lead with Kenya and take it out in 2 Pecks without taking any damage. Chuck's final Pokemon is his Poliwrath. I decide to try out our newly evolved Pikachu. I outspeed and hit with Thunder Punch, which does just under half. He goes for Dynamic Punch but misses. One more Thunder Punch is enough to defeat Poliwrath, and we beat Chuck without even taking damage. We step outside the gym and talk to the lady outside, who gives us the HM for Fly. I teach it to Kenya because it's a much stronger flying move than Peck. After teaching Fly, we get a phone call from Dana, who says that she has an item for us. We travel back to her and she gives us a Thunderstone. I decide to use it immediately to evolve Pikachu. While it's true that Pikachu learns Thunder via level up while Raichu doesn't, I don't really think it's worth it to keep it as a Pikachu for that long. We speak to Jasmine once again and give her the secret potion. She returns to the gym and it's time to face the 6th gym leader in battle. This battle was a little bit more difficult. Jasmine leads off with Magnemite as I send out my Togetic. I go for Mud Slap, which is 4 times super effective. Even with the times 4 damage, Mud Slap doesn't even do half. Luckily for me though, she keeps missing due to the accuracy drops. I beat the first Magnemite without any trouble. Next is the second Magnemite, which causes me a bit more trouble than the first. I get a critical hit with Mud Slap, but she's able to hit me with Thunder Wave. Next turn she hits me with Supersonic. This basically ensures that I won't be hitting an attack anytime soon. Magnemite is able to hit a couple of Thunderbolts, which takes out Togetic. I send out Vaporeon and go for Surf. I outspeed and take it out. All that's left is our strongest Pokemon, Steelix. I go for Surf, which deals a lot of damage, bringing Steelix down to red health. However, Steelix goes for Sunny Day, which cuts the power of Water-type moves by half. I go for one more Surf, but Jasmine uses a Hyper Potion, fully healing Steelix. I get extremely lucky though and get a critical hit with Surf, bringing Steelix back down to red health again. I go for Surf one more time and finish it off, winning us the 6th gym badge. I make my way to Mahogany Town to take on the 7th gym leader, Price. Before that though, Team Rocket needs to be defeated. As per usual, they offer no real challenge and I beat them with ease. It's time to take on Price. He leads off with Seal. I go with Raichu and one hit KO with Thunder Punch. Next up is Piloswine, so I switch into Vaporeon. One Surf is enough to take it out in one hit. Last up is Dugong. I switch back into Raichu and 2 Thunder Punches are enough to take it out, winning us the 7th gym badge. Before we can head to Blackthorn City, Team Rocket needs beating once again. As always, they're complete pushovers, so I'll skip over them. During our Team Rocket takedown, we get rudely interrupted by Bum Bum, and that is a sentence that's never been said before. Bum Bum leads off with Golbat. I send out Kenya and use Fly. It does about half, but he hits me with a Confuse Ray. I hit myself with Confusion the next turn, but the turn after I'm able to use Fly once more, taking Golbat out. Next is Magnemite. I decide to switch into Vaporeon despite the type disadvantage. Thankfully, Surf is strong enough to take it out in one hit. Next up is his fully evolved starter, Meganium. I send out Kenya and go for Fly, but while I'm in the air he sets up a Reflect, halving the damage of my physical moves. Because of this, Fly only does about 1/3. He hits me with Body Slam and I get paralysed. Meganium takes out Kenya with one more Body Slam and I send out Togetic. However, Togetic also gets paralysed and can only hit 2 Swifts before I decide to switch out, leaving Meganium on orange health as I swap into Raichu. I go for Strength, which is enough to finish it off. Haunter is next and goes down easily in 2 Thunder Punches. Last up is Sneasel, which suffers the same fate, going down in 2 hits, and we beat our rival once again. We beat the rest of Team Rocket without any problem, and it's time to head to Blackthorn City. We make it through Icy Path and arrive in Blackthorn City. I head straight to the gym and face Claire. She leads off with the first of her 3 Dragonair. I send out Vaporeon and go for Aurora Beam, which it learned during training. I get a lucky critical hit and take it out. The next Dragonair doesn't go down so easily. It survives an Aurora Beam and paralyses me with Thunder Wave. I take it out in one more hit, but not before it hits me with Thunderbolt. The final Dragonair also goes down in 2 hits, and all that's left is her ace, Kingdra. I swap into Raichu and hit with Thunder Punch. It only does about 1/3, but I get a lucky paralysis. Not only that, but it's unable to attack. I go for another Thunder Punch and she misses her attack. One more Thunder Punch is enough to take it out, and with that we've earned our final gym badge. Or not. Claire is a sore loser. Despite me clearly stating GG no re, she insists that I go to the Dragon's Den and take a quiz. I correctly answer all the questions and the last badge is finally mine. That's not our only prize though. I speak to the old man again and he gives me a Dratini that knows the move Extreme Speed. This will be our newest addition to the team. We finally have a full team of 6, Togetic, Vaporeon, Raichu, Kenya, Shucky and Dratini. However, there is one more gift Pokemon I can obtain. You may have noticed that I haven't really been using Shucky that much. That's because Shucky is, well, useless, so I really want to replace it. I head to Mount Mortar and use Waterfall to get to a previously inaccessible area. I traverse through the cave until I find the Dojo Master. We beat him in battle and he gives us the Pokemon Tyrogue. This will be our final team member. I make it to Victory Road and decide to do a little training. In doing so, Dratini evolved into Dragonair and Tyrogue evolved into Hitmonlee. The team is really coming together now. I make it through Victory Road. Before we can reach the Pokemon League though, we need to face our rival one last time. He leads off with Sneasel as I send out Hitmonlee. I have the type advantage, so Sneasel goes down in one high jump kick. Next is Golbat. I switch into Raichu and take it out in one hit with Thunder Punch. Next is Magneton, so I switch Hitmonlee back in and take it out with one high jump kick. Kadabra is out next, so I switch into Kenya. Fly is strong enough to knock it out in one hit. It's been a clean sweep so far. Bum Bum sends out Haunter as I switch into Vaporeon. He outspeeds me but goes for Curse, meaning that I'm able to knock it out with a bite. His last Pokemon is Meganium, who goes down in 2 hits from Kenya. We grow to level 40, learn the move Drill Peck, and beat our rival for the last time. I train everyone to around level 40. I think I'm ready to take on the Pokemon League. Here's a look at our team before we go in though. We have Togetic with the moves Double Edge, Sweet Kiss, Fly and Shadow Ball. Vaporeon with Surf, Quick Attack, Bite and Aurora Beam. Raichu with Thunder Punch, Thunder Shock, Strength and Thunder Wave. Kenya with Drill Peck, Pursuit, Fly and Fury Attack. Dragonair with Waterfall, Thunder Wave, Dragon Breath and Extreme Speed. And Hitmonlee with High Jump Kick, Foresight, Tackle and Mind Reader. I make a couple more adjustments. I teach Hitmonlee Strength and Raichu Iron Tail, and it's finally time to face the Elite Four. First up is Psychic type user Will. He leads off with Xatu and I lead with Raichu. One Thunder Punch is enough to take it out. Next is Jinx. I stay in and use my newly learned Iron Tail. It knocks out Jinx in one hit. Next is Exeggutor. I swap to Kenya and take it out in 2 Drill Pecks. Will sends out Slowbro, so I swap back into Raichu again. It goes down in 2 Thunder Punches. All that's left is Will's last Pokemon, his second Xatu. I stay in and go for another Thunder Punch, taking it out in one hit. Our second battle in the Elite Four is with Koga, the Poison type user. He starts with Ariados, so I lead off with Kenya. Drill Peck is complete overkill as we get a critical hit. Next, Koga sends out Fortress. I don't have a Fire type move unfortunately, so I send out Vaporeon as he's my strongest special attacker. 2 Surfs is enough to finish it off, but not before he lays down 1 layer of spikes. Venomoth is out next, so I swap back into Kenya and knock it out in 1 Drill Peck. Koga sends out Muck. I stay in and hit with Drill Peck for decent damage, but he goes for Acid Armor, which boosts his defense. I hit a few more times with Drill Peck and finally take it out. Koga's last Pokemon is Crobat, so I swap into Raichu. He goes for Double Team, which means we miss a couple of times, but 2 Thunder Punches is enough to finish it off, winning us the second battle. Next up is Bruno, the Fighting type user. He hits first with Quick Attack, but it does very little damage. 1 Drill Peck is enough to take it out. Bruno sends out Onix, so I swap into Vaporeon and hit with Surf, knocking it out easily. Next up is Hitmonchan. I swap back to Kenya and 1 hit with Drill Peck. Next up is Machamp. I stay in and go for Drill Peck, which he just barely lives. He hits back with a super effective Rock Slide. To my surprise, Kenya actually lives the hit. Despite using a Max Potion, I'm able to easily defeat the Machamp with 2 more Drill Pecks. Bruno's last Pokemon is Hitmonlee, so I stay in, outspeed it and 1 hit KO with Drill Peck. Easy. The final member of the Elite Four is Karen, the Dark type specialist. She sends out Umbreon as I send out Hitmonlee. Despite being super effective, Umbreon survives the high jump kick and lowers my accuracy with Sand Attack. This isn't a problem though, as I go for Strength next turn and take it out. Next up is Vileplume, so I swap into Kenya and take it out in 2 Drill Pecks. Karen sends out Gengar, so I go for Togetic. Gengar cuts its HP in half with Curse. I go for Shadow Ball and finish it off with a critical hit. Next up is Murkrow. I swap to Raichu and take it out in 1 Thunder Punch. Karen's last Pokemon is her ace, Houndoom. I swap to Vaporeon, who's able to take it out in 2 surfs. We've now beaten the Elite Four. All that's left is the champion, Lance. Lance leads off with Gyarados. I send out Raichu and take it out in 1 hit with Thunder Punch. Next up is the first of his 3 Dragonites. I could swap into Vaporeon, who has Aurora Beam, but I'm going to need him a little later on, so I instead choose to send out Dragonair. Dragonite goes for Thunder Wave, but it fails. I hit with Dragon Breath for a decent chunk of damage. Next turn he goes for Thunder and misses. I hit with another Dragon Breath, bringing him down to KO range. This time he decides to go for Hyper Beam. Surprisingly, Dragonair survives this and I'm able to finish it off with 1 more Dragon Breath. Lance sends out his second Dragonite. I decide it's time to send out Vaporeon. Dragonite uses Thunder Wave, but it fails again. I hit with the super effective Aurora Beam, which deals a lot of damage, but not enough to take it out. He goes for Hyper Beam but misses. I really cannot believe my luck in this fight. I take it out in 1 more hit and Lance sends out his third and most powerful Dragonite. He wastes a turn going for Safeguard as I hit with Aurora Beam, dealing a lot of damage. He hits me with a Hyper Beam, taking me down to orange health as I knock it out. Next up is Charizard. I stay in and take a Flamethrower. I hit with Surf, which is not quite enough to finish the job. I go for Quick Attack and defeat Charizard. Lance's last Pokemon is Aerodactyl. I swap into Raichu and go for Thunder Punch. It does a lot of damage, but I get taken out before I can finish it off. I swap into Dragonair. Aerodactyl is unable to move due to using Hyper Beam, so I use Waterfall, taking it out and winning us the match. We've done it, we've become the champion. However, before we can say we've beaten Pokémon Crystal using only gift Pokemon, there is one more challenge we need to overcome. Red. I beat all the Kanto gyms with no problem and make it to Mount Silver. I know I won't win at my current level, so I decide to grind all my Pokemon to level 60. Partway through this, Dragonair evolves into Dragonite. All of our Pokemon are now level 60, so it's time to face Red in battle. Red leads off with Pikachu, so I choose to start with Raichu. I outspeed and hit with Strength. I get a very lucky critical hit and take it out in 1 shot. Next up, Red sends out Espeon. I swap into Dragonite and hit with an extreme speed. It does just under half as he hits me with Psychic for huge damage. 1 more extreme speed is not quite enough to beat Espeon and he hits back with another Psychic, knocking out Dragonite. I send out Togetic. He goes for Psychic, which deals a lot of damage to me, but I survive and finish off Espeon with a Shadow Ball. Next is Blastoise, so I swap into Raichu and hit with the super effective Thunder Punch. It does less than half and he hits back with a Surf, knocking me out with a critical hit. I send out Togetic to try and deal as much damage as possible. Luckily for me, he misses Blizzard and I hit back with Double Edge. He hits Blizzard this time though and takes out Togetic. I swap into Hitmonlee as I'm sure I'll be able to outspeed. I go for High Jump Kick and it's enough to take it out. Next out is Charizard. For some reason I wasn't paying attention and thought that it said Venusaur, so I send out Kenya. I quickly realise my error and switch into Vaporeon. Charizard's fire moves don't do a lot of damage to me though, so I'm able to take it out in 2 surfs. Next up is Venusaur, for real this time. So I send out Kenya. Drill Peck does over half and he wastes a turn charging up Solar Beam. I take it out in 1 more Drill Peck and all that's left is Red's final Pokemon, Snorlax. Snorlax has really good HP, so I don't think I can take it out in 1 shot with Hitmonlee. I decide to stay in and go for Drill Peck to try and whittle it down. I'm able to bring him down to half health before Kenya goes down. I send in Hitmonlee and go for High Jump Kick, praying that it doesn't miss. Thankfully it hits and it's enough to finish off Snorlax. We win the battle and beat Pokémon Crystal using only gift Pokémon. This challenge was a lot easier than my Delibird challenge, but I still had a lot of fun doing it. It's something a bit different and I hope it was interesting to watch. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the support my last video had. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. What Pokémon challenge should I take on next? Leave your suggestions below in the comments. If I pick your idea, I'll give you a shout out in the video. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.